not everybody knows that the first permanent settlement of Polish immigrants was not in Chicago, not in New York, not anywhere on the East Coast. It was actually in Texas, in Panna Maria, Texas. And we have a great privilege, a great opportunity to talk to Mr. W Cebrowski, who is a member of the board of directors of Polish Heritage Center right there in Panna Maria. John, welcome.
Thank you so very much, Łukasz.
So, what's the story? Why Texas?
Why? Well, it's because that Father Leopold Mochigemba came to Texas. He was recruited to come to Texas to minister to Poles who had come here in the middle of the 19th century, about 1852. And when he saw the opportunity and when he saw the land that was available down there, he sent letters back home to his family, to his friends back in Górny Śląsk, Upper Silesia, and said, "You have got to come here." And they did. They did. And in 1854, and that's the birth year, in 1854, the first group of about 100 families arrived in Panna Maria. And then in 1855, there were more. He was the one who founded it. It is the first and the oldest permanent Polish settlement in the United States. It's very small today.
Yeah.
Very small community. But it's still there. It still exists. It still has its own post office.
Wonderful.
It's only open a couple of days a week, but it's still, and not only that, was it the first community, but it's also the site of the oldest Polish church in the United States and the oldest Polish school in the United States. So in one location, right there in Little Panna Maria, you have what we call a trifecta of, the first settlement, the first church, and the first school.
First little Poland in America.
Yes.
Are there still families with Polish last names living in the area?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, and very, very proud. Very, very proud of their heritage. And the one person I'd like to pay particular attention to is Bishop John W. Janta, who was the visionary behind the Polish Heritage Center. His great-great-grandparents were a part of that 1854 emigration. And he had the idea, Łukasz, back in 2011, we just absolutely must honor those families. The hardships at the time, it was incredible. Those people came to a climate which was vastly different. The Comanche Indians were still roaming the territory, I mean, it's semi-desert down there.
The language barrier.
Oh my gosh,
there's differences.
All kinds of different, and they survived. It was just an incredible, difficult transition to make. As a matter of fact, they almost ran Father Mochigemba out of town, and they got mad at it. And those folks were writing letters back to Poland saying, wait a minute, you may not want to come, but then things gradually improved. And Poles, they persevered.
Yes.
Poles persevere, and they persevered, and they grew, and it succeeded, and they established 13 different communities across South Texas. Wow. 13 different communities and churches.
And these all emanated from the Panna Maria settlement.
Yes. And 9 of them still survive. 9 of those churches are still active. There's a village called Kosciuszko. How does that sound?
Yeah, very
There's
familiar.
another one, Częstochowa. How does that sound? Okay. So they carried all of that with them. And Bishop Janta, who is now deceased, he deceased a couple of years ago, he was the visionary. He was the visionary behind this. He was incredibly proud of his heritage and says, we have got to honor these people. So back in 2011, he gathered a group of people together, and they began the planning. How are we going to do this? They began the fundraising. And over a period of, maybe 10, 11 years, they raised over $14 million and built this 16,500 square foot facility, which honors those immigrants.
Yeah.
And the center, which I would invite all of your readers, all of your viewers, to please come to South Texas and visit, and to see this incredible place.
Yeah, it is a multi-million-dollar facility, as you say, state-of-the-art.
State-of-the-art, very high tech, very, very high tech.
What can people see there?
Well, number one, it's the history of those immigrants. That's the main theme, but it's against the background of Polish history. We're not a museum. We're not a museum like this beautiful museum you have here in Chicago. We're a heritage center, but we have to put into context Polish history. So we begin with Polish history in 966, when Mieszko married Dobrawa, and you know that well,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All the way through today, all the way through today, and we have to educate. One of our key elements of our mission is to educate our visitors about this Polish history. So we start with the Piast dynasty, the Jagiellonian dynasty, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. We're honest about, the partitions, and we talk about the First World War, and we talk about Pilsudski, and we talk about World War II, and we talk about how Poland has evolved through, and today it's incredible. I mean, I've personally made 10 visits back to Poland. The first one in 1985. And the last one, just a couple of months ago, I took my son-in-law and grandson from San Antonio. We went to visit family and friends. Poland today is beautiful.
Yes.
The European Union, NATO membership like that. It is just, on an incredibly positive. We celebrate all that. We are very proud of that. And flying out in front of the Polish Heritage Center, you've got the Polish flag, you've got the American flag, and you've got the Texas flag. So we've got it all there. And I'd like to say that the Polish people, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, was a major contributor to the center. And there are 4 elements inside the center which they help fund. We are so very, very proud of the close relationship we have with the Houston consulate, the Polish consulate in Houston. But it's all right there.
Yeah.
All right there.
John, how to get to Panna Maria? Where is it exactly? How to plan a trip, say, from Chicago to Panna Maria?
Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to San Antonio. And to be honest with you, I don't know whether I would go in the summer or not. Because it's 100 degrees down there right now. But in the fall and the winter, the spring, go to San Antonio, the 7th largest city in the United States. I think is the 3rd or 4th most visited city also, because of its own history, its own history, the Riverwalk, the missions, and all the other things that are there. A lot of beautiful hotels, restaurants there in San Antonio. Panna Maria, excuse me, I like to say it in Polish, is only about 50 miles southeast, less than an hour, and you're down there. And not only you have an opportunity to visit the Heritage Center and Immaculate Conception Parish and the school, which is now a small museum, which is run by the Panna Maria Historical Society, but you can go out to Bandera, which is a nearby, only about an hour away, where the 2nd oldest Polish church in the United States, St. Stanislaus. Or you can go to St. Hedwig. Now, how's that for a name for a community, huh?
All Polish saints.
All Polish saints. Okay. And you can go, and that's, I think, the 3rd oldest Polish parish in the United States, dating, I think, from 56 or 7 or something like that. But a lot of history, all those communities, and very, very vibrant. The people down there, very, very proud. And they're the ones, primarily, who donated all the money to support this. But we had donations, I think, from, oh my gosh, about 20 states, and a couple of Canadian provinces, and of course from Poland, to put this all together. It's been open for 2 years now. We've got a nice staff there, state of the art, very high tech. As you walk around the Heritage Center, you will be given a small wand and an earpiece, and you can listen to the presentations in English, in Polish, or in Spanish, or even in a children's version as you're reading the different things in the exhibit area. If a group wants to go down there, we have a room, we call it the Yanta room now, the Bishop Yanta room. You can have a luncheon arranged for yourself. There's a beautiful theater, which a group can go down and put on a convention. the ACPC, the American Council for Polish Culture, for which I'm also on the board, did their 2022 convention down there. And we spent the full day. The full ACPC spent the full day in Panna Maria. We had a beautiful luncheon. Nothing like Texas brisket.
Yeah, I remember
Texas brisket beef. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome. John, you sold it. Honestly, I'm going for sure.
Gotta go.
And I hope that many of you will go to that cradle of Polish presence here in America,
That's
there in Panna Maria.
Right.
Start with San Antonio.
Yes.
Take a trip and visit that wonderful heritage center. John, where can we find more information?
The website, beautiful website,
Mhm.
Polish Heritage Center TX.org. Polish Heritage Center TX.org. All the information is right there. Beautiful website.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Dziękuję za wszystko.
Dziękuję bardzo. Our guest today, Mr. W Cebrowski, is a director, member of board of directors of the Polish Heritage Center in Panna Maria. John, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.